Hello, everyone, and welcome to this meeting about Holy Moments Harvest. We are so grateful to have with us the creator of Holy Moments Harvest. She wrote most of it, and it all is coming from her beautiful and beloved brain. Elizabeth Christie is my colleague at PRC. I don't have her bio in front of me, but I can tell you that she has been a Christian educator. She's a trained educator. She's been a church educator, a Christian educator for what, probably 25 years, 20 plus years.
Yeah, I did the math the other day. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's that long.
Yes. She's worked in all different kinds of capacities with bigger churches and smaller churches and different denominations. And she's been working with us at PRC for a few years now. She is the creator of Holy Moments Harvest, and we're so grateful to have her with us. Elizabeth, welcome.
Thank you. It's fun to be here. As Karen said, if you have questions as we're going along, please don't hesitate to unmute yourself and ask questions. It's a cozy group. That's totally fine. I am going to show some slides. I can share them, but honestly, they're not the greatest slides in the world. So I think the better stuff that will be the resources that we share as we talk. So feel free to put stuff in the chat as you have thoughts about that too. I am going to be switching back and forth between sharing slides, but also sharing the resources. And because the files are kind of big, my computer gets cranky. So we may have a few moments of me just vamping and exhorting my computer to come on and catch up. So I'm glad you're here. This is going to be fun. Oh, Karen, this screen sharing isn't working for some reason on my end. Sorry about that.
Sorry, I thought when I reclaimed the host, it didn't let you stay co-host. So, but okay. Anyway, you got it now.
Thank you. All right, so here we go. I pulled out this yummy color because I love this color when you come rolling into fall. So Harvest is our newest holy moment, and we have resources for the congregation to use with children and families. And we have resources just for the families to use with the children. You can purchase just one. You can purchase both. It's up to you, whatever your needs are. So if you get the congregational pack, you get Blessing of the Devices, which is a liturgy that Karen wrote, and it's phenomenal. It honestly made me cry, and I don't cry, so it was beautiful. And stickers that you can print however you want. There are family retreat plans, and they're fun. I've done them all. They're really a lot of fun. Mission projects, bedtime stories and prayers plan. Out the door blessings, that's something that it's a Word file or it's a PDF that you can just copy paste and put into your text server and automate to send every I do it on Mondays at 7:20 in the morning. It's meant to be easy, and it's for parents to pray over their children and children to pray over their parents. There are plans for 2 separate parent/caregiver book clubs and playground suggestions, things that I'm going to be stocking in my playground. The family pack includes read alouds, read alongs for all ages and stages, and there's just some really excellent books in there. The Visio Divina practice, family hikes, suggestions to do with families, collaborative art prompts, and I'll talk a little bit more about this as we go on, but I would tease out some of these art prompts and do them multi-generationally and get people excited about doing them together at home. And bedtime blessings. So that's everything that you're getting in these packs. The family pack, I'm going to go with this for now. Read alouds and read alongs for all ages and stages, the Visio Divina, the family hikes, the collaborative art prompts, and the bedtime blessings. So I'm going to stop this share and I'm just going to bring this up. And this is where we talk with the computer and say, please play nicely. Yay, it worked. Okay, so click on this. I keep all mine on a Google Drive file, and I will talk about this later. I would encourage you to do this too, so you have ease of sharing. However it is that you downloaded it from us, I would get it onto Drive or Dropbox, whatever works for you, so that it's easy to share with families. Depending upon what your congregation uses, narrative lectionary or RCL, we have options for both. And you also had the options to get the PNGs or the PDFs. I prefer the PDFs because then the links that go directly to the scripture are live. But because I know my computer's not going to play nicely right now, I'm just bringing up the PNGs because they're a little less heavy on the memory. So this is what they're looking like right now. You'll see if this was the PDF, you see where my arrow is, I could click on that and that would go right to the scripture to make it easy for families. It also works on the phone. I've tested it there. I tested it on tablets. Like I tested it everywhere. It works on everything. And it's meant to be something that fits into the chinks of the day, you know, where there's these just few spare minutes where you're saying, okay, we need a little something here. This fits in, it's 5 minutes. So you read the scripture together and you wonder, and then there's a prayer. This can be extended, it can be longer than 5 minutes. I'm actually using these as a spine for a children's chapel that I'm going to be doing this fall. And I will be making files, Dropbox files. Literally, this is on my Friday afternoon schedule, Dropbox files that will be shared with the families so that they can access them each month. I'll also have printouts that they could take, but it's not quite the same because then they have to go searching for the scripture. I didn't want to put the scripture right on there because then it gets bigger and it becomes a little overwhelming for families. They think it's even more than it needs to be. So this is what it looks like. You'll see a coordinating picture for each one because we really want to connect all the senses as we are exploring scripture. And I have had a lot of families say, we never really thought about going through our camera rolls before or going online and looking for pictures for this, but it really has helped us. It helps teach families different ways to use technology to our benefit versus doom scrolling or whatever it is that it's being called now. You know, there's a purpose. We have a purpose for having our phones about. So that's what these are looking like right now. I'm going to go back and come on. Go back. See, Zoom just takes up so much of the energy of the computer. Sorry, y'all. And the RCL is the same. You will see that they're organized by month, so you can download whichever ones you want to send out. I recommend getting it all set ahead of time, but then having dates on your calendar that you then push out that next month or that week's, whatever works for you. If you give them all to the families in the beginning, they're like, well, that's too much to process right now, especially since all the back to school forms are coming in. So keep it as simple as possible. I'm going to bring up the bedtime blessings, but I'll go back to the read alouds. This is, oh, you can't see that because it's small. This is my kids' most favorite one. They love bedtime blessings. They love so I have 7 kids. My 13, 10, 8, and 3-year-old love these. They have printouts in their rooms and they like to bless each other and bless me as they go off to bed, and they like to choose. It prints out like this. And these I do print out for them. It goes right on their wall. And my 3-year-old will just point to the one he wants. The older ones will go through and rotate and figure out what they want. But you know, there's some autonomy in the choice, but it's also a winding down, and it's a shared blessing each night. And it's just 4 separate possibilities. No, this one had 5, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there were 5. I didn't want too many because I wanted people to be able to internalize at least one, and that way they've always got something in their bag of tricks. You know, if things are just a little wild, they've got something they can pull out and bless each other and recenter and refocus. So those are the bedtime blessings. The family hikes I'm going to show you also. I am hearing from more and more congregations that they are having success with scheduling what they're calling pop-up sessions. So they just decide, say on a Wednesday, hey, this Saturday, we're going to gather for a hike at XYZ Park. You know, it's not broadcast a lot. They let people know, but it's not thought out 3 months ahead of time. It's a pop-up. And if families are available to come, they come. And they're finding that they're getting 3 to 7 families attending these. If you're a smaller congregation, that's what they're finding. I can't really comment on the larger congregations. I don't know how many would come. I think you'd probably have to plan a little more ahead of time. But these are the hikes that I put in here. A picnic hike, a tree identification hike, leaf people. I changed the name because the book is based on something called Leaf Man, but I didn't want to leave out a whole segment of the population. So we called it Leaf People Hike. And duct tape bracelet. Now the Leaf People hike, you'll see this will go straight to a reading of this story. It's a wonderful story where the author configures all the different ways that she can turn the leaves into different representations of people. And we're encouraging families to do this. It's fun to do. But this one is my kid's favorite, the duct tape bracelet. You turn the duct tape inside out around the wrist, and as you walk around, whatever you pick up becomes part of it. And then you can either look at it under a microscope or a magnifying glass, or you can be completely weirded out. I have some kids who would be weirded out, but others that think this is the coolest thing ever. It's just a lot of fun to see what gets collected as you're walking about. A tree identification hike, I will tell you, that is my husband's most favorite thing in the world. He loves nothing more than getting out there with field guides and identifying new things. My kids do not love hiking with books. They would much rather do bark rubbings or pick up things that they can then identify when they get back home. But then that begs the conversation of, do we take things off the trail? That's something you have to decide as a congregation. And the picnic hike, that's the one I would pull out to do as a congregation, as a pop-up. Everybody just bring, even if it's a simple, bring a granola bar or some dried fruit and let's go hit the trail. It doesn't have to be a fancy picnic. You just throw down a blanket, and we all know that food eaten outdoors just tastes better. And you can do it as a church family. So the read alouds, they're organized a little more differently this year, or this season, I should say. I'm going to click here. No, the elementary. So I'm going to talk about this book with you because I'm using this also as a spine for a children's chapel situation. This is the big bang, the big bang for your buck, in my opinion, this book. But you'll see that there are 3 books for each of the older age levels, plus conversation questions and ideas for how to make a little family book club that would take maybe 20 to 30 minutes, something fun to do together. So that's for Wish Tree, Charlotte's Web, which will resonate with a bunch of parents because they grew up with it and they'll feel nostalgia with it. And Rickshaw Girl is another lovely book. And it takes place in Bangladesh. So it's bringing in other cultures also. I try to bring that into every age level as well. There are graphic novels for the middle and the high school ages. The preschoolers are organized just a little bit differently. So I took the lectionary readings and I pulled out a theme for each. So in September, we're looking at connections and so there are 4 books about connections. In October, we're getting ready for giving and Thanksgiving, but that's also in the lectionary. So there are 4 books there, 1 for each week roughly. And then sharing. I only did 2 books in, I have to adjust that. Sorry, that's a little weird. Only 2 books in November because November really is so chock full of getting ready for so many things. So there are books and then there are conversation questions that go along with them for the younger kids. And that then leads us to the last thing, the collaborative art prompts. And I have a slide about that, but I just wanted to give you a little glimpse. You'll see it's this simple. All you do is you click on these links and it'll take you to how to make these crafts. There's colorful fire starters from dryer lint, autumn leaf votives, and hand mixer spin art. Hand mixer spin art is the one that I would pull out to do with the group. Here, I'm going to bring this up here again. Oh, I'll talk about that in a sec. Where'd it go? Darn it, I'm sorry. I don't know where it went. So let's pretend it's there still. I'm sorry. I would choose the spin art. Basically, ask 3 or 4 people in the congregation if you could borrow their hand mixers. You put paint into a bowl and it just spins it around and everybody loves it. If you do it at church, parents will be more apt to do it because when you get home, at first you're like, this is a little wackadoodle. Why do I have plans for this? Why am I going to spin paint around my kitchen? Once they see how easy it is and how the mess is contained, I've tested this. It's not a messy thing. They're apt to do it. I would experiment with making background papers to go on bulletin boards to go with the liturgical color for the season and see all the different iterations that the children and families make using that spin art. So that's what I would do. Options for distribution. There's always the print and mail it. People do like mail. The kids especially love mail, but it's not quite the same. As I said, Dropbox or Drive is the way I'm going. Or you could text or email certain files to families directly. This is for the congregations that have purchased both or at least the family option. If you just purchase the congregation option, please don't do this. Wait a minute, I said that backwards. How did I say that? I'm sorry. So if you purchase for your congregation, you can do this. If you purchase the one family option, like you purchase just for your own individual family, you can't share this around. It's just for use in your family. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, Karen, I'm looking at your face.
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense. If
Okay.
there's I'll detail. There's a lot of ways when you look at our sheet to buy holy moments, there's like so many different ways you can buy this based on congregation size and like the family only or just the congregation. And so if you have any questions about those, please call us, email us, ask now, and we'll detail that. But there is an option, like if you are just want this for your family or for one family, then it's just there is an option for that, but they're just for that one family. They can't be like shared to every family.
Thank you. My mouth was just getting stuck on that. I'm like, wait, what did I even say? Because I'm not sure that I did make sense to me, and I've been breathing this for the last 2 months. So. Come on, there we go. So this is what I would do. I am literally in your shoes, and I literally just started a new position yesterday with the new congregation. And on Friday, I am sitting down and doing a bunch of this. So I'm going to be using their text server thing and set things to be sent out at 4 p.m. on Sunday evening, the Visio Divina. I'm going to try it first to do it weekly, but I want to see what the response is. I don't know if that will be overwhelming. Yeah, and I'll be asking for feedback from the families. If it's overwhelming, we'll just do once a month and we'll move it to a Dropbox file. I am printing the bedtime blessings on paper. If I can figure out the printer there, we might get them on window clings, but definitely on paper. I'm starting to collect dryer lint. That's for the collaborative art prompts of fire starters. Also, in case you didn't know, some children will fight over dryer lint. That has happened in my house. Like, it's a hot commodity. I don't understand why, but they really do make really excellent fire starters. And you'll see when you click on the links, you package them into toilet paper tubes. And if you want to do the colorful ones, you add a few very basic elements to it. And this dryer lint becomes something amazing. And I would give people a head start and start collecting dryer lint. Set a date for a collaborative hand mixer spin art after worship. As I said, I would do that. And if you have the supplies in your church, make some take-home kits to send home. It could be as simple as a little jar of paint and some cut up pieces of paper that they'll just place inside of a bowl. It really is not a messy project. I would create a display of some of the books for each level for the family read together so that people can peruse them. I would put them wherever you get a lot of high traffic. So if it's if you have coffee hour and you have a lot of people going through there, put them there. If you have it in your narthex, I like the narthex because I like the rest of the congregation getting excited about it. But whatever works in your setting. I would also put a basket in the narthex with garbage bags for people to take on hikes so that they start thinking, oh, here, we can take this with us and we can pick up a little something, some of the garbage as we're out there hiking, a missional focus. I see a chat. 1 second, I'm clicking there. Oh, we do have questions. One on the incredibly shared one. Oh, I want to. Got it. Okay. So Jean, we'll catch up with you in a few moments then. Sorry, I think I'm understanding that correctly. One thing I would do also to get people excited about the bedtime blessings, if you can pull this up, it's a lot of fun. I would have a stuffy slumber party where I would invite the kids to bring a stuffy that they love, but they're okay with being away from for a night to your church. And you gather them in the sanctuary and you have a stuffy slumber party and you set up a Zoom link and you let the kids see what's happening for the stuffies and the sanctuary. And then you bless the stuffies. You go through some of the blessings there that are listed, bless them. And then you say goodnight to all the kids and encourage them to bless their families and the rest of their stuffies. And then if you can do this, also a little take home bag for each stuffy that includes the blessings. And it would be really fun if you could challenge the congregation to take photos of all the different places that they've blessed their stuffies or blessed each other, and get people excited about this ritual of settling in for the night together and families blessing each other. You could create a hashtag, put it on Instagram, whatever works for your congregation. But I would get people excited about the bedtime blessings that way. It's something that is easy to fold into a family's rhythm. And people just need a little gentle encouragement to do so. We talked about this. We did this. Oh, let me just do this real fast. For the read togethers, I have had success in previous congregations of holding something like a book reveal on Zoom or Facebook Live, where I show what books we're going to be reading and introducing, and I have confetti and a kazoo, and woohoo, here's the first book. Let me give you some hints about it. Let's see if you can guess what it is. It's Wish Tree or something like that, and people get excited over it. You can talk with your public library about reserving some copies of the titles, and you could have a time in the playground or at coffee hour where people make bookmarks that they take home to put into the books that they're going to read together as a family. It garners some education, some excitement. So extensions for the read togethers, as I said, like biggest bang for the buck, this book, Wish Tree by Catherine Applegate. I have used this so many times. I love this book. It is beautiful, and it connects to the themes in both the RCL and the NL for the fall. You do not know this book. It's the main character is this tree, Red, and Red is a wish tree. So people come once a year and they tie, if you can see, little strips of paper or cloth with wishes that they have on there. And the legend is that she grants the wishes. We don't know if that really happens, but the story centers around how the owner of the tree is going to cut it down, and how the community rallies together to save the tree, but also to save a family in the neighborhood who is being targeted in some horribly racist bullying. So it's an encouraging book. And if you haven't read it, I would encourage you to read it. It would flow very nicely. As I said, I am planning on reading a few chapters. They're short chapters. They're like 2-3 pages in Children's Chapel. It's a modified Children's Chapel, and connecting it to the lectionary of the day. You could make it the spine of your weekday ministry. So you could have it as something that you are doing on a Wednesday with kids, where you read to them. You could create journals together, because part of this hinges heavily on a journal from the owner that kids find and prove that this tree needs to stand for much longer than the 200 years that it's been allowed to stand. So I'm going to stop the share for a minute, because that was a lot. Did that go? There we go. I had this spinny wheel of doom going across my screen. Are there questions that I can answer for you now?
And Jean, if you want to type your questions into the chat, I can read them out loud. We can answer them.
Yeah. I don't like when I talk this much at people. Like, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm lecturing. So please.
Well, I can tell you something that I did. So we use the family. In my congregation, we use the family moments the most. And I created, for the summer, I created like gift bags that I gave to all the families with just the hikes, and I gave them the right read alouds, and I gave them to all the families from Vacation Bible School. And I actually just gave the last 2 bags away this morning to a family that was playing on our church playground, and they had 2 kids, and I thought, oh, I've got 2 bags left. So I gave those away, but it was really a lovely thing. Haven't been able to send out the lectionary or the wondering questions, because our church texting system doesn't allow me to do pictures. I can only do text. And so, but I just realized that I could upload them all separately and make a link. Like, I could create a little bit.ly link for each one and text that. But I didn't think about that.
That's cool. Yeah, that's a good workaround, because then they could just click that from the text, and bam, when they're sitting in carpool line. I like that.
or they could click it and then they could download whatever they wanted to do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Pretty neat.
so it's a thought.
Brilliant.
Any questions, Jean? It looks like you logged in on a second one.
Yes, I did.
Oh.
No, I do have questions, but first I just want to say thank you, because this program has been transformational for the middle schoolers. The interaction, the finding images, they have to think about what the scripture looks like to them. I can't even begin to thank you enough, because they're starting to ask questions. Like before, it was this fear of asking questions. So
I'm so happy to
thank you.
hear
This is
that.
very, very cool.
Thank you. That's so good to hear. My goodness.
No, which is why there are so many options to buy. I guess I wish I could see what was offered, because I do want to purchase the right thing, get the biggest bang for my buck, but in a way that like feeds your what you put into this. So I'm not sure what to buy.
So I went ahead and just did a screen share because I had it open.
Thank
and
you.
we're sorry. Well, I guess we're glad that there's so many options because
Oh,
you can get what
absolutely.
you need, but I know it's overwhelming and confusing. So the first thing that you just sort of like the basic graduated level is just worship size or church size. And we're not holding anybody's feet to the fire here on like how many people you have in worship, or do you have to include your online worshipers? Like, just pick the one that seems like closest to like roughly seems right for how many people you have in worship or connected with your church. So there's one under 50, under 100, under 200, under 500. I guess, if you have over 500 in worship, that looks like the highest amount. So great. It's like it's under 200 and then everyone else. um, Then there is, of course, the family only, which is what Elizabeth has just detailed. And the congregational pack, we're going to go over in just a second. That just, it includes some different things like programming options, like retreats. And it's a little bit more like the kinds of things you would do in a class or at the church, as opposed to what one family might do at home with their household. So you can buy just the family, or you can buy just the congregation, or you can buy the two of them together. So that's family only, congregation only, family plus congregation. And that's the pretty much the basic thing. Underneath there are these little, you can either get just the harvest, or if you feel like you really like these and you want to go in to make sure you get at least 4, you can buy 4 of them, or you can buy all year. So we have them all year. But we're only releasing, one at a time. So right now, the only 2 we have out are Salt, which was for the summer, and Harvest. And we'll have Christmas, winter one, we'll have Lent, we'll have Easter. We'll make sure anything else is covered too. So is that helpful? Is that what you needed?
Well, okay, so take for instance the one family only. I mean, I clicked on the one family one moment for $10 just because I wanted to see what it was like, and I got a whole summer's worth. So what more do you get? I mean,
Yeah. So one family, when you say one moment,
yeah.
that means you get all summer.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's only for use for one family.
Yeah, I wanted to see a sample. Well, it was
There you go.
incredible.
So that's a great way to get a sample. Like if you click on this, like if you clicked and you bought, if you buy one moment and you get harvest for one family, you can see that as a sample for everything. If you decide to print it out and give it out in your congregation, we'd ask that you would buy it for your congregation. But since if you already spent $10 on the sample, you can send us an email and we'll get you a link that's reduced
Well, I want to move
by
to
that much.
fall. I want to move into fall and get the right thing. So what I'm seeing is head over, like if 4 family moments, would that get me an entire year's worth?
Almost.
Okay.
Almost the whole year.
Okay.
It's not the whole year, but it's pretty close.
Okay. Thank you. I'm quiet now.
No, you don't have to be quiet. Wait, I have to let me say this out loud because I think I might be able to answer your question properly. So there was Pentecost 1, which was the summer salt. Pentecost 2, which is harvest, the fall. We broke that season into 2. There's 7 liturgical seasons. Advent, Christmas, and Epiphany are being bundled together. That's 3 of them. Those will be released October 1st. January 1st is when we will release Lent and Easter, and then there'll be Pentecost. So I believe, I wish I could remember, Jean, exactly. There are some where you have to purchase, like the Christmas, Advent, Christmas, and Epiphany. Like you can't just purchase the one. I'm going to go ahead and say yes. I think the 4 gets you the year.
Okay.
No, I need to sit down on paper with that. I'm sorry. I'm not like on the business end of this. I'm
All
on
good.
the writing end of it. I'm sorry.
All good.
Thank you. And Hallie, I saw your question there. I bet we can work something out. If you just want to buy the congregational for you, because I bet we can ask, I'm certain Charlene can come up with a code, a separate link for that. I'm writing it down here.
Yeah, so yeah, if you want to do, yeah, great. So why don't you email, do you want her to email you or email me, Elizabeth? And then we'll send it to Charlene, the by congregation.
Either one is fine. Hallie, I know, has my email address. I mean, Karen's.
Okay, why don't you email Elizabeth, and that way she can, and she'll,
Sure.
I'm putting her email in the
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Feel free to email me. Don't hesitate.
and she can forward that to Charlene, and she'll create a unique link for you. If anybody ever ends up like you bought something and it was the wrong thing, or oh wait, that wasn't what I was looking for, you can always just let us know, and we can do refunds, or we can credit you.
We want this to be useful for your ministry. We don't want this to be a drain on the budget. We want it to be useful. So just give us a shout. We'll get it figured out. Any other questions before I start talking a mile a minute about the congregational pack? Okay. Okay, don't hesitate to unmute or throw something in the chat, but I am like a squirrel. I get distracted when I see the chat and then I lose my train of thought. So it might take me a sec to get back and sound somewhat intelligent. All right, congregational pack, here we go. It includes a blessing of the devices and stickers, and I'm not kidding you, the liturgy that Karen wrote made me cry. It's beautiful. Family retreat plans.
I was just gonna say I based it off the one that her son wrote.
Oh my Noah.
He
no.
wrote like the sweetest little blessing, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna make this. I'm just gonna expand this out a little bit. It was Eli, right?
It was actually Noah, and
it was Noah.
He's still cackling over it because he ended it with an unnamed pastor. I'm like, don't you go get in a swelled head, Noah Christie. You're not there yet. Anyway, family retreat plans. There are 3 in there. Welcome autumn, Halloween, and not spooky Halloween. I do not do spooky, and an Advent preparation retreat. Lots of fun in there. And I will talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but I'm actually using the Hello Autumn one as a spine for a back to school festival that this new church I'm working with is throwing. I just found out about yesterday. So mission project, it's really, I think it's pretty cool. Bedtime stories and prayers plan. I have been involved in this sort of ministry for a lot of years now, and it's gaining a lot of traction around, and it's not difficult. If I can do it, you can do it. And I broke it down so you can literally just take this plan and go. You're ready to go. Out the door blessings, as I said earlier, that's literally a text file that you copy paste into your texting plan, whatever it is you use, and set it to send to families, and they pray it over each other as they head out to the door for a new week. I am still getting messages from a church that I piloted this with 6-7 years ago, have not been there in 3-4 years. And I'm still hearing from them. We're still using those. It was incredibly meaningful to them. So don't underestimate the power of those. Plans for 2 separate parent caregiver book clubs and different playground suggestions. I was remiss. I did not bring my books over here, but they're just on the other shelf. I'll grab them in a moment. So let me go here. This is what I would do in one afternoon. I would pull out my calendar and I would get everything on my calendar, what I want to use from this pack. When do I want to do the retreats? And then I would check the church calendar and I would get things on there. I have a meeting this Tuesday to get things on the big church calendar. So I'm calendaring now. And I'm checking things against the school calendars to make sure that things are working in concert with each other. And I would start gathering materials and I would get helpers to help me gather materials. Because you'll have more buy-in. Yes, it's good for you to have help, but it's also good for you to have other people that are excited about this. So if you get helpers to help you gather, they start getting excited about what you're offering. As I said, I would make that Dropbox or Drive file and get that ready. And on your calendar, write when you're going to start sending things out so that you're working here so that you can be on autopilot when you see that reminder in your calendar that on the day that you need to do it. You'll sit there and say, as I say to myself, thank you last week, Elizabeth, for doing that. You'll just be ready to go. I would gather a basket of supplies of things that I know I will need and have it ready. Like just put it in a corner of the office and you're ready to go. And preset those out the door blessings to send at 7:20 on Monday morning. I have found that to be the optimal time. Yes, we miss some high schoolers. However, parents like to text it to their kids, their teens. It is a nice way to touch base as they start their school day and just a little, here's this, I love you, see you later. I've heard that from families. So here's what you can do with these pieces. Pull apart to make what you need. Like it's choose your own adventure. Those family retreats can be taken down into many different pieces. There are 4 activities with each of them. There's also an entry activity. So like the Halloween retreat has jars of candy corn that people guess how many candy corn are in each jar. You just pull out what works for you. As I said earlier, you can use the Visio Divina as part of your faith formation. However you see fit. It is in the family pack, so you'd have to purchase that too. But there's no reason that you can't use that for faith formation. Even if the kids are using it at home with their families, that's carryover. That's a good thing. You can use these midweek and hybrid or online based groups. You can do read-togethers that are in there. You could have bedtime stories and prayers. You could collaboratively make art projects and the mission projects that are in there. The mission projects are focused on getting clothing for our community members that don't have enough. And there are 3 different options in there of different ways to do it. You can take some of the hikes from the family pack and do them multi-generationally. You can do the collaborative art projects multi-generationally. I would choose things that are in there that you really like and make yourself a course catalog to include everything that you're already doing, plus 2 or 3 things that you really like from this pack, so people can see what you have coming up in this fall. So September, October, November, you've chosen a few things from the pack. Throw that in there with your course catalog so people can get them on their calendars. Oop, I see a chat here. Message. Oh, a gift to future you. Yes, that's exactly what I say to myself. Thank you, me from the past. So the RCL in the beginning is using the Old Testament stream, but then I switch the last week of October into November and we start following some of the parables. So we go back to the New Testament stream. As I said, the biggest bang for everything is this book, Wish Tree. I know I keep saying this, but you should read it. It's really an excellent book and you'll see very many different ways that you can use this in your ministry. Quality over quantity. You do not have to use everything in here. Please don't use everything. I mean, if you really want to, go ahead. But there are seasons for everything and not everything's going to work now. You want to do what you're doing well. You don't need to do tons and tons. You need to do what you're doing well. So you can absolutely whittle down everything that we have. Would you like to see these? You want me to bring them up? Is that helpful?
Yeah. I love it when you bring them up.
All right, I'll bring them up. And we're going to talk sweetly to my computer and tell it to play nicely. Okay, thank you. Good job. I also talked to my car in case you're wondering. All right, congregational. So again, bedtime stories and prayers. Oh, that comes up weird as that. Never mind. Let me bring it up as a PDF. It's just 2 pages. You'll see you can launch, I suggest you launch a doodle poll to select a time, get people to buy in on that. I have found Wednesdays at 7 to be great, but you know, I'm in Pennsylvania. It may not work for you at that time. Here's the trickiest thing to keep in mind. We used to be able to do this on Facebook Live. You cannot anymore. The publishers have cracked down. They do not want us reading without purchasing the rights for that. So I have moved it to Zoom. You can also use Google Meet. Just protect your ministry and make sure that you're using an approved forum for this. So you go down the theme. Oh, why is this being weird? I'm sorry. So never mind. Here are the books. Come on, go. So, and I linked to each of them. So you could you could click here and you'll see it in that everyone's favorite online giant retailer, but you can buy it from wherever you want. Goodbye Summer, Hello Autumn. I love this book. A Rock is, I honestly love every single one of these books. They are chosen intentionally to be representative of all God's children. So there should be a way for every child to see themselves in at least one of these books. Beautiful, beautiful books, beautiful language, not a lot of language, but quality language and quality illustrations, beautiful things. A decent mix of fiction and nonfiction, so something for everyone. I would pair it with your favorite children's story Bible. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Oh, well, I'll bring it back. Pair it with your favorite children's story Bible, and you've got yourself a lovely bedtime stories and prayers session. So out the door blessings, I wasn't kidding. You're literally getting a file that looks like this. Well, when the words come up, there it is. And what you're going to do. Oh, it's not going to let me do it because I'm on Zoom, but I would literally just highlight. Oh, maybe it will. Highlight it, copy, and then paste it into the next browser window where you've got your text thing up and set it to send. That's all you got to do each week. I'm just going to move this so I can go back there. The taskbar, you know, that lovely Zoom taskbar that blocks your screen. Here is the blessing of the devices. Just to introduce it. If you haven't read the liturgy yet, it's gorgeous. It's just so gorgeous. Let me go to that first. Those are the stickers, and this includes the link so you can download it and print it however you want. I was told by tweens and teens that they want square stickers this year. I asked a lot of them. They all thought it was weird. I mean, I would ask people at the pool too, but they answered me. So I designed square this year.
Yeah, and you can print your own. You can send them to a sticker. There's online sticker printing places that'll print them for you. There are probably shops locally in your community that'll print them.
Yep.
You may know someone with a Cricut that you might like. They're going to be different qualities of sticker, right? So like if you're just printing them in your church on like Avery labels, very cheap, it's very easy, but it's a paper sticker. But you know, that's okay. Doesn't have to last forever. It's very cheap and easy, and it'll take 10 minutes if you already have the labels. But yeah, if they're just graduated based on what quality of sticker you decide.
And the liturgy is beautiful. You can do it in the worship service. You can do it whenever, wherever. You can do it online, whatever works for you. It's beautiful. I love it so much. I really, really do. So playground suggestions. Let me bring that up. Oh boy, I think my computer's getting incredibly cranky, but we had, yeah.
Really, before you say that, I want just to clarify, a playground is a common word for a space within your sanctuary that you've kind of curated to be for children and families. So it doesn't have to be called that, but it's I've created a space, taken a few pews or a side alcove or, you know, a place, and you put things there, rocking chairs, coloring tools, whatnot, that are good for kids and families to engage.
So I put a basic list here of things that you can rotate in and out, but then things to think about for back to school. And then things to think about for different seasons. So the Indigenous Persons Day, Halloween, and Thanksgiving. So something for each of those seasons. And if you have other suggestions, please share them in our Facebook group, because really we learn so much from all of you, and I love everything that you share there. One other thing that I think I will show you, the book club. You know what? Do you mind if I stop the share? And I just grab the books and show you the books. Do you mind? Is that okay? They're right there.
Sounds great.
Okay. I'm still here. They're right here. Except someone moved my books. Of course, someone moved my books.
Elizabeth does have 7 children. They range in age. Her oldest is in college. I think she was maybe her second oldest is almost in college, I think.
Yeah.
She's got what, a 3-year-old? Sammy's 2 or 3.
Yeah. All right. You know what? Someone moved them.
The whole age.
Good gravy. Who moved them? All right. So I grabbed things adjacent to it. So let's pretend these are Tracy Smith's Advent books and the Prayers for Faithful Families. We're going to pretend that these are, I found one. I don't know. I had them here. It's making me nutty buddy. Anyway, so there are 2 different books in one club for this, and it's for faithful families. There's an Advent one, Faithful Families for Advent and Christmas, and it includes how to help families use that resource, but also to create a material or 2 for them to use with their family. So it's preparing them for that. But the other one are different prayers to use with their families, and it shows them how to take things out of that book and add to their arsenal of prayers. So it's pretty cool. The second book club possibility. Oh my gosh, I just realized how hedgehog my book is. Let me go like this. Raising Critical Thinkers by Julie Bogart. It's an excellent read. And this will take all 3 months, but each chapter is a standalone. This is not written for a church. It's written for parents. And many of them, I think her intended audience were all parents, but specifically homeschool parents. But this applies to so many different parents. It's an excellent, excellent read. And it's excellent for parents that are really thinking about their own faith and what they believe and why they believe it, and how to think critically about what they're reading in commentary, how to think critically think about what they're hearing in the media, and help them to process that as they talk with their children. It's really an excellent book. And there are different questions and suggestions broken down in the book club guide. So I just prattled on. Did I breathe once in that 10 minutes? I'm sorry. What questions can I answer for you? Oh my gosh, you're all so quiet. It's probably the quietest part of my day.
I grabbed.
Oh my gosh, thank you. There it is.
Christmas, and I have prayers for faithful families as well, but I couldn't put my fingers on it. So.
I have them together. They were on that shelf. I love my people, but they keep taking my stuff. It's a good book. They're both excellent resources if you haven't used them. Is the resource based on a specific lectionary? Which resource? And then I can congregational. No. So you'll see the retreats. They're just meant to be retreats. Family togetherness. The missions. The missions projects are just to be in mission together. It's not lectionary based. Can I give an example of how? Rothia, if that doesn't answer your question fully, please don't hesitate to throw in the questions or the chat.
I'm good. That's kind of what
Okay.
I wanted to know. If you base them on a lectionary, so it fits in with something, or this is just stuff that comes along on the side that you can give your congregation to do on the side, and that's what the congregational stuff sounds like. It's a come on the side resource.
Yeah, it come alongside and
Yes.
support you and get you to the next.
Yes. Yes,
And I
yes.
apologize. Did I mispronounce your name?
Rotia, but you know,
Sorry. I'll say it
it's
correctly from now on.
it's okay.
I'm sorry. I don't like to
I
mispronounce
don't
names.
apologize. I hear it all the time, so
I know, but I don't want to do it. Thank you for your grace on that.
no problem.
Marissa, can I give an example of how you've implemented a parent book club? So one congregation had 4 services with a faith formation time in between the 2 services they considered the family services. I did try to offer a book club during that faith formation time, but it was a bust. What I found better was to do it after the second family service and meet with the families, but I also had things for the kids to do them. But this was pre-pandemic. What I have found now, post-pandemic, that people like it better when we read at home. And I send a question out of a book club guide once a week, just a thought-provoking question that they chew on. And then we come together and I provide a Zoom link if they can't come in person. We choose a mutually exclusive time and we join together and we discuss the questions and any other things that we want to bring up to each other. But the key has been choosing a time together. So Doodle's my friend for that. It used to be that I could schedule a time when we'd already be at church, but that doesn't seem to be the pattern right now. At least that I'm seeing. I hope that helps. If it doesn't, let me know. I can clarify.
Yeah, I think that's helpful because that's something that we've tried to start parent book clubs in our church. And so it's like the parents are, I'll say like, do you want to do this? And do you want to read this book? And oh, yes, we want to. And then, Sunday morning, no.
Yeah.
Sunday evening, no. Tuesday nights, no. Like Zoom, no. We just,
Yeah. I get more traction if it's a private Facebook group and I throw a question in there and people will just answer as they pull up the post. Sometimes that's what they can handle at this point. I also purposefully choose books that have standalone chapters. So if someone doesn't read along, they can still join in on the conversation, but then go back and read. Like it wets their whistle and they want to know more. I'm not going to sit there and, did you read this book? It doesn't sound like you read this book. I don't think this is going to work. I don't do that. I just do, let's just keep talking. So obviously I can keep talking in just about anything. So parenting. Oh, yes. It's meant. Yeah. You can do it multi-generationally. It's cool.
one of the things I'm thinking about doing this year is taking the out the door blessings and getting just doing a general sign up for the congregation and saying, hey, anybody who wants to receive these on Monday mornings, I don't care if you have children or grandchildren or if you're single or however if you want the blessings, you'll get the blessing and you can receive the text and receive it yourself. You can take that. And if you don't have other folks in your household, like living with you at that moment, but you have people that you're connected to, friends, family, that you want to send it as a blessing to every, at the beginning of the week, regardless of their age, you could send them, you could use that as a blessing that a ministry, like a personal ministry that you have where you send that blessing to people.
Yeah.
And, so that's what I'm thinking about doing, again, because the text I can send text out to everyone in my congregation or anyone that I put in a group. So.
I love it. I'm sorry. I live in the city and there's a motorbike going past if you just heard that.
It's just I like ways to be connecting with people beyond just in new ways. And we've been doing worship and we've been doing Sunday school and we've been doing Wednesday night. There's all kinds of things we've done before which can be wonderful and we are continuing to do. But I think that resourcing families individually or reaching out with out the door blessings and things like that in text, or it's just helps them see God connected to their whole lives as opposed to just a church thing.
I love that. That's perfect, Karen. Are there any other questions we can answer for you today? Okay. Well, you have our emails. You are welcome to contact us. We are thankful that you are here. It's a blessing to learn from all of you.
Absolutely. I'm putting Elizabeth's and my email in again. And I put the link for Holy Moments. I'm Karen WJ at prcli.org because we have more than one Karen at PRC. And we're both very nice.
They are. They really are. They don't deserve the whole social issue around the name.
That's okay. Great. Okay, well, we appreciate all of you for being here. Please continue to reach out to us if you have questions. We hope that these holy moments are ways to create holy moments for you and for the families and congregations that you serve. And we wish you days full of peace and purpose. Goodbye, everybody.
Hi, friends.